It's 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. If Phil can lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we come to you tonight, Lord, thanking you, Lord, for the blessings of life. God, I thank you, Lord, just for the ability to call on your name, Lord, for this meeting and to ask you for the knowledge and wisdom that we all seek to make the best decisions we can on behalf of the city that we love so dear. Lord, just bless our citizens, our employees, our elected officials. Please bind us together, that we all pull in one direction for the benefit of the city. Now go with us, lead, guide, and direct us. Please grant us traveling graces back to our homes this evening. These many favors and blessings I ask in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Everyone want to join us with a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we need to consider the agenda for adoption. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Item 5, we need to adopt the meeting minutes for the regular meeting of September 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Now we have some proclamations.
First, you have one from Georgia Highlands Medical.
Okay. So if y'all want to come forward. This is...
So, good evening. Thank you to the mayor, city council for giving us the opportunity and the time. As I think you all know, Georgia Highlands had our annual legislative luncheon on August of this year. At that event, we usually honor a member of our community who exemplifies the motto of commitment to care. Past recipients have included Lynn Jackson, Adam Johnson from Browns Bridge, Dr. Beard from First Knox Schools, and others. The recipient of that award this year was not able to attend, so I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do that tonight. He is a Forsyth County and Cumming native who understands our legacy in the community. His dad, for example, was a patient of Georgia Highlands. Then I have a whole bunch of superlatives here to talk about the mayor. And it ends with, and the city of Cumming has remained fiscally strong through everything he's accomplished, which I think is a great thing to say. He has successfully moved the city forward without losing sight of its history and legacy. He also has shown a real understanding of the needs of real people in the community, from housing to food assistance to dental and health care for the low income. Most recently, he started the Cumming Mayor's Disability Council to look at providing better health services and connections for individuals with physical and intellectual disabilities. When asked, Mayor Brembo has not hesitated to lend a hand to Georgia Highlands. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, he agreed to be the roastee at our Roast and Toast fundraiser at the conference. And all I can say is he was magnanimous in this whole in the whole event. And as a result, we raised $40,000 for the low-income children at the school-based health center Cumming Elementary. So, in recognition of his commitment to community health, support for Georgia Highlands Medical Services, and the courage to take action, our recipient of the 2025 Commitment to Care Award is the Honorable Mayor of the great city of Cumming, Mayor Charlie Brimbolo.
Thank you. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Are you ready?
Well, get the tomatoes to start.
Thank you. Make whatever you want me to do. All right. Let me lay that there.
We all go? Yeah. Oh. I did too.
Get one, oh, I forgot to get Eddie's, I'm sorry. Oh,
Next, we have a proclamation for metastatic breast cancer awareness. Whereas breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among women, and metastatic breast cancer, the stage when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body, is responsible for 98% of all breast cancer deaths. And despite advances in early detection and treatment, approximately 30% of early-stage breast cancers will eventually metastasize with no known cure. And whereas in 2025, an estimated 42,680 Americans and 685,000 people globally will lose their lives to breast cancer, and despite this staggering toll, less than 13% of breast cancer research global funding is dedicated specifically to MBC, leaving patients with limited treatment options and no cure. Whereas the increased research funding is critical to transforming MBC from a terminal diagnosis into chronic survivable condition, offering patients more time and more hope. And whereas significant racial disparities persist in breast cancer outcomes, Black women are 40% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women in the U.S., and Hispanic women face breast cancer as a leading cause of cancer-related death. And these inequalities demand urgent action through research investment, equitable care, and inclusion education. And whereas Mediviver Research and Support, a national nonprofit, exclusively funds Stage 4 MBC research, and the global Light Up MBC campaign elevates MBC awareness, amplifies patient voices, and honors lives lost by eliminating more than 117 landmarks globally in the tricolor MBC awareness color ribbons of teal, green, and pink each year on October 13th. Whereas the City of Cumming is proud to stand with the MBC community by shining a light on their challenges, courage, and the critical need for dedicated research that saves lives. Now therefore, I, Troy Brumbelow, Mayor of the City of Cumming, do hereby proclaim October 13th, 2025 as Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day in the City of Cumming, and encourage residents to support the Light Up MBC campaign in advocating for greater equality and investment in metastatic breast cancer research. Thank you very much. This is one of my favorite proclamations that we do each year, and it's for Retired Educators Day. Whereas the governor of the state of Georgia has proclaimed Sunday, November 2nd, 2025 as Retired Educators Day in Georgia. Whereas there are more than 145,000 retired educators in Georgia, 34,000 plus of whom are members of the Georgia Retired Educators Association. And whereas the retired educators of Georgia donate thousands of hours of volunteer service and make invaluable contributions to the welfare of their respective communities across the state. And whereas it's appropriate that a day be designated for citizens to express their appreciation for the contributions that retired educators have made and continue to make for the betterment of human lives and for society. Whereas local churches will recognize those lasting contributions made by retired educators in the community. Now therefore, I, Troy Brumbelow, Mayor of the City of Cumming, do hereby proclaim Sunday, November 2nd, 2025 as Retired Educators Day in the City of Cumming. All right. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, under old business, there is none. Under new business, Cumming Aquatic Center, report of quotes for new vehicle purchase.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this evening. So I'm here to report on the quotes for a replacement aquatic center vehicle. This is the department head vehicle, the one that I'm driving. I currently have a 2012 Chevy Malibu. Which they don't make. I know it's pretty old, but it's seen better days. Let's just put it that way. It has 108,000 miles on it. I put out a bid on September 3rd for four-door sedans and received 6 quotes back on October 3rd. And those are as follows. There's a quote for a Toyota Camry for $38,500. Which is extremely high. A 2005 Hyundai Sonata from One Nation Distribution in Pennsylvania, that was $29,989. There was 2 quotes from Eastern Shore Toyota in Alabama, a 2026 Toyota Camry 4D Hybrid, $31,097. I should say this is an approved budgeted item for 2025, and we had $30,000 approved in the budget for it. And then a 2025 Hyundai Sonata for $28,681, a Kia for $28,403, and then the lowest quote was a 2025 Nissan Altima. This is from US Fleet Source. It's a 6-month turnaround, however, and it is budgeted in 2025. So we do need the vehicle by the end of the year. So after reviewing the bids, some seemed high and far away to get the car. So I did speak with Phil, and he told me that we've got some cars from Chastity Ford. So I reached out to Brent from Chastity Ford and got a quote for a small SUV, so a Ford Escape, and I have that included in the back here. And he gave me a quote. It's a 2025 Ford Escape. It's white. He gave me a quote for $26,218.25, and that's with the city doing all the title work and everything. So it's my recommendation that we reject all of the bids, and then the Ford Escape would be the second lowest. The second lowest quote, the lowest is the Nissan Altima that has the 6-month turnaround. So my recommendation would be to go with the Ford Escape, and it's local as well. So.
Any questions for Carla? What's the pleasure of the council?
Well, that seems to make sense. I'll make a motion that we approve the 2025 Ford Escape from Chestatee Ford in the amount of $26,218.25.
Second.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank
you,
you.
Carla.
Thank you so much.
Item B, planning and zoning, de-annexation of Mary Alice Park, public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we've only been trying to do this for 3 years. Finally, we've been able to get this done. This was part of your 2022 lost agreement with the county. The county has taken over the lease from the Corps. That part was fairly easy. As part of that lost agreement, we agreed to de-annex Mary Alice Park, however. And this includes not only the park itself, but also the 50-foot strip of moist land from Lake Lanier that goes all the way out there from Sanders Road. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have about this, but this will be the last thing that we need to do for that purpose under the lost agreement.
Any questions for Kevin? I have a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Anyone that'd like to speak in opposition to the de-annexation of Mary Alice Park? Anyone like to speak in favor? I have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
They're not clearing out our. There we go.
No, try it again now. No, I saw all three. Motion carries 3-0.
It's a interesting legal description. Didn't get updated.
So when we annexed this, that was how we were able to make it contiguous. And it's a 50-foot wide strip of core property because that's what was required for annexation back then. So we had that. That
Even the
little area.
boundary of the park itself is.
Oh, I know.
It's an old.
I know. It's a very old legal description. But yeah, this was. Some people may not remember, but this was done in 2008 before the recession, when Great Wolf Lodge was at one point looking to locate a convention center and hotel and resort here. It was, everybody was on board. It all looked like it was going to work, and then the recession hit, and then after that, that project just never came back. So yeah, it is an old legal description, though. You're right.
It's a pleasure of the council.
I'll make a motion, and this was done as part of the agreement several years ago. I'll make a motion that in favor of the de-annexation of Mary Alice Park.
A second.
Second.
Please vote.
I thought.
Motion carries 3-0. Item 2, rezoning application 2025048 Sharon Road Development LLC, public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Before you open the hearing, I would like to read the Planning Commission report that you have in your packet in the record. The applicants made application on behalf of the property owners to rezone 4 parcels and part of a fifth totaling 6.480 acres, more or less, from office professional to planned unit development for the purpose of creating a mixed-use development. The subject properties are located on Dahlonega and Elm Streets, currently vacant. Future land use designation is a combination of office professional, public institutional. The proposed development is also adjacent to an existing PUD currently under construction. Therefore, the requested rezoning conforms with the city's comprehensive plan. Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 20th. There were no objections to the rezoning. Support for the rezoning was stated at the hearing by the applicant, his attorney, and a third party. The board voted 2-1 on September 16th and recommended approval of the rezoning with the revised site plan you have in your packet. I believe it's Exhibit E. 29 zoning conditions, 7 supporting exhibits documents, and a PUD pre-application checklist, all in your packet. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I notice the applicant and his attorney are also here, and I'm sure they can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Scott? I have a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Anyone that'd like to speak in opposition to this rezoning application? Anyone like to speak in favor?
Mr. Mayor, council members, Sean Courtney with Lipscomb Johnson, 112 North Main Street here in Cumming. I'm representing Sharon Road Development LLC, and this is zoning to PUD, as Scott mentioned. It is fronts on Elm Street and Dahlonega Street. This is the location. It's those parcels, and then C15054 is just a portion of. This is the site plan showing there's access there on Elm Street and Dahlonega Street. There's a focal point. There's approximately 45 townhomes and 16 condos over retail or commercial. You can see from this drawing is the elevation of the proposed condos over the commercial. Also have the proposed townhomes. And then we have a few exhibits just showing the types of buffer screening trees. You'll recognize this is the type signage that is for the hair salon out there. We want to do something similar with our signage to match that area, provide fire pits, gathering spaces, things like that. Also in this development, we'll have the covered parking. You can see the little circles that'll be future buffer trees to kind of screen off the parking from the right-of-way. It will be a gated residential development, and then I'd like to provide something similar to this for the focal point. But with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Sean?
Those are for sale condos, right? The condos over retail? Or what was that? They're not. A little louder, Ricky.
Any other questions for Sean? Anyone else like to speak in favor of this rezoning application? I have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. What's the pleasure of the council?
I'm going to make a motion, since a couple of our members are not here today. I'm going to make a motion that we table this until the next meeting.
Next council meeting or
Yes.
work session?
I'd be fine with it at the next work session.
Are we gonna have work, we won't have work session?
I've got an item coming up on that. We could postpone it to the next day since it's on election day.
On that Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need to go ahead and say that, or?
Why don't you move this to the end of the agenda and then make that decision on when you're going to table this until
There's an item on your agenda.
after Phil brings that agenda item up.
Okay.
So let's lay this on the table for now, and we'll come back.
So do
Do
I
you
have
have a motion to that?
a motion to table it to the end of the meeting?
I'll make a motion that we table this item until the end of this meeting.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Item 3, capital improvement element.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This item will also, I'm sorry, this item does not require a public hearing. We had the hearing previously on this. The Department of Community Affairs has approved our FY 2024 annual element of our capital improvements element, including our FY 2024 impact fee annual financial report and our 2025 to 2029 scheduled improvements. I'm requesting the council authorize the mayor to sign the attached adoption resolution, officially notifying the Atlanta Regional Commission of its adoption. After notifying ARC, the DCA will extend the city's qualified local government status, which, of course, as you know, keeps us eligible for things like low-interest GFA loans, block grants, those sorts of things. So be happy to answer any questions before you consider adopting or
Any
authorizing the mayor.
questions for Scott? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the attached adoption resolution notifying the ARC of its adoption.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Item 4, ordinance amendment, impact fee ordinance, public hearing.
Well, just like the last time I was up here, it's a time to deal with things that are 3 years old. In that same agreement, where we agreed 3 years ago to de-annex Mary Alice Park when the Corps applied for it, we also agreed to collect impact fees for libraries and fire service. Those are both things the county provides that we don't provide, that when we do have development, we have impacts on. The county recently raised their impact fees for those two items. They did that back in June. They let us know about it a little over a month ago. And so once we learned about it, we prepared this ordinance to amend our impact fees for those two items as well. That's the only thing we're required to keep pace with the county on are those two items. The changes weren't too substantial. I think it was $20 to $30, something like that. That's what I recall it being. Between what our current impact fees are for those and then the new revised impact fees.
We're required to be exactly the same as them on those?
On those two items only.
We're collecting it for them.
Yeah, we collect
Money
that
goes
for
straight
them
to
and
them.
send it to them. That's part of that old lost agreement, the 2022.
No, I remember that part, but I didn't realize, figured we could collect our own amount, but then I guess we could have said 1 cent or something stupid, so it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
They have say in how much.
Yep.
Okay.
But this does require a public hearing before adoption.
Have a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Anyone that would like to speak in opposition to the impact fee ordinance? Anyone like to speak in favor? I have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. I don't know. I don't know if it cleared
Aye.
again. All of you vote yes?
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Motion carries 3-0. What's the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the impact fee ordinance as presented.
Second.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Item C, Cumming Police Department, report of quotes for audio-video system for the new police municipal court building.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. What I've got for you tonight, or the first thing that I have for you tonight, is bid results for an audio-visual system for the new courtroom that's being built currently over at the City Center. I'll be happy to go into as much detail as you want to in it, but everything that's included in this bid from everybody that bid is consistent with any modern-day court system, all the monitors, video, audio, digital signage, recording system, and there's even components in there for a virtual courtroom. So we got 2 bids. Like I said, I'll go into greater detail as you want to. They're just going. Got 2 bids, one from a company called AVG. Their bid was for $175,332.37, and from a company called ASW, and they come in at $152,945.94. We'd like to recommend going with the low bid from ASW. We've done business with ASW. They actually put in the audio system at the City Center there at the band shell. Did a great job, so we'd like to recommend going with that. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the council? We have a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve ASW for the AV system for the new police municipal court building in the amount of $152,945.94.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you so much.
And is that, Phil, is that able to be paid for with foundation funds? The police foundation funds will be paying for that, not coming out of the general fund. Item D, administration, report of quotes for new phone system for all city installations.
Okay, so this is a budgeted item. The current phone system that the city of Cumming uses was installed when we moved into City Hall in 2002. So we can't get parts for it anymore. Any parts that we're buying these days are coming off of eBay, so they're not brand-new parts. It's an analog system. So the system that I'm proposing, it is compatible with our current data network. So we use Fortinet for everything. So Fortinet makes a voice system called FortiMail. It's a voice over IP system that integrates with all of our stuff, so it's going to work well with, and it's going to be a citywide system. So we had 2 bids in on that. One is from a company called MGT. They come in at $55,748.97, and another company called Amplifier Solutions. They came in at $44,883.94. We'd like to recommend going with Amplifier Solutions at the low bid.
Shad, is that gonna have some training involved with it?
Oh, yeah, we got a 50-hour block of whatever we need from that company, so.
I imagine there's some, need some help figuring out how to
Well,
work
the basic, I was answering some questions for Scott. He says, how's this work? I said,
Yeah.
well, you take the phone and you pick it up and you say hello. and-
That ain't true. That ain't true. There's a couple phones I'm like, God, how do I transfer a call or?
Yeah, we'll make sure everybody knows how to use it. So, but that is citywide. That's for all departments and all buildings and everything.
Well, 8 years, I don't know how to get a voicemail off my phone in my office. It's full, but I don't know how to get one off of it.
Well, I can help you with that.
On-the-job training.
Yeah, I can help you. We got a great staff. We can help you with that.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid from Amplifier Solutions, $44,833.94.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you so much.
Item 2, consider date for November work session.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you for considering this item. Every couple of years, Election Day will fall on one of our scheduled work session days, being the first Tuesday of November. That comes up this year, so I would like to propose tonight that we consider rescheduling the November work session, if it is needed, to Wednesday, November the 5th at 6 p.m.
So the question, if we're talking about postponing the other,
Yep.
we either need to say that we're doing it on the work session date or the council date of November.
Well, I would think that if
I don't want them to do it to the work session, then us not have a work session.
But if the motion is to put it on the work session, we're having the work session.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be the agenda item, at least one agenda item. We have a couple others.
Oh, yeah, we can,
Okay.
we'll have one.
All right, so let's just do it that way. That way we don't have a conflict there.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to change, reschedule the November work session to Wednesday, November 5th, 6 o'clock.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Item E, utilities, consider of RFQ for lake discharge development report.
Yes. Talk about lumpy water, as we call it. And I'm going to have a lot of trouble with that phone system. I can't even. Let's see, how do we do this? Let's see, slideshow from the beginning. And there it is. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit tonight. We've been planning eventually to build a wastewater discharge plant into Lake Lanier. The property that we've identified is along Lanier 400 Parkway. Between 400 and Lanier 400 Parkway is the site of the plant. I feel like that site would really work well for the wastewater treatment plant that will one day discharge into the lake. We're looking at phases. This is a very expensive project, so I think biting it off in small increments is probably the best thing to do. You know, we'll have a lot of it will be established in the first phase, so that additions to the plant would be easier. But we're thinking a 2.5 million gallon per day initial phase. This is a little bit closer. These are really kind of hypothetical designs at this point. We don't really know how the layout would be, but this would lay it out along Linear 400 Parkway. This is what's called a waste load allocation. I've had to learn this. This is evidently really important, and we have one. It actually phases it beginning at 7.5 MGD and going up to 15 MGD. We are waiting for the EPD to complete some other studies in the lake to determine if it's feasible to go from 7.5 all the way to 15 MGD. I know it's a lot of acronyms, but this is a waste load allocation, and it tells you, for example, ammonia, we would be down at 0.5 parts per million. Phosphorus is 0.08, and those are really super low numbers, which makes the technology to treat this wastewater to this level, it's really high-level technology and very expensive. So what we want to do now, and this is a budgeted item, is to do what's called a design development report and have our engineer Garver LLC to complete this study. The cost of the study is $593,709, and this will help kind of like move us down towards the end goal of building the facility. I tried to put some cost in there so you could see. Currently, we charge $30 a gallon to sell sewer when we sell sewer to, say for a home. We assume 250 gallons per day, and we sell sewer at $30 a gallon. That's $7,500 a home. Just looking at cost of facilities that we've seen around the state of Georgia recently, I think a low number would be $35 a gallon to build this initial phase, which would be $87.5 million for a 2.5 million gallon per day plant. I think it would be, when we get the DDR, I think it will qualify us, better qualify us to pursue the state of Georgia maybe for grants, as this is an unfunded federal and state mandate, because the Corps of Engineers is mandating that we put the water back in the lake. The state of Georgia is mandating it, and it has to do with our future growth and our future ability to pull water out of the lake. I think looking at growth trends, that the facility needs to be in operation between 2040 and 2050. This meets the requirements of the Metropolitan Water Planning District, part of the ARC. Their projections are that during that time period, we need to have this plant running. And I think Georgia is looking at 2050 to be our build out, or at least between 2050 and 2060.
Just the 2.5 or?
Well, for the population build out. Are you talking about the 2.5?
I mean, build
the
out
first
of
phase?
how much of it, yeah.
That's what I would recommend, is that we.
Has to do with returning treated water back to the lake.
Back to the lake.
Instead of putting it into the Chattahoochee.
No, I know, I remember, but this first phase would just be up to 2.5 MGD.
That's my recommendation now.
So that's what has to be built by 2050, or does more happen?
I would say by 2040, we need to build that. I know that seems like a long time away, but it takes about 10 years really to plan for a plant. And here we are at 2026, so by 2036, we'd have the permits and all that in place. And then 2036, we would begin construction and may have it done by 2038. But we have to kind of plan ahead, you know, this is a really large project, very complicated, and we have, a lot of things have to come together. So to have a 10-year planning horizon, I think, is reasonable. And
That's phase one. How many phases?
well,
Planning.
if you look back, let's look back at the waste load allocation. So the EPD gave us 7.5, 12.5, and 15. Currently, we're pretty much guaranteed 7.5, so that would be 3 phases to get to the 7.5 MGD. If we actually got to 15 one day, there's going to have to be more studies in the lake to determine this. It's kind of like a sponge. the assimilative capacity of the lake has to be such that that discharge won't affect the lake. And, they're still really studying to determine if 15 MGD would actually work in the lake. So, but as time goes on, it's going to be more important for us to put water back in the lake, not so much today, but as this area and this region grows, to be able to keep up with the demands, we have to put water back in the lake so that in, distant future, there'll be enough water in this region to meet the demands. So, but my request out of all that TMI information is we would like to complete the DDR and, start this process with the EPD. This is a budgeted item. I think I budgeted $600,000. And this engineer, we did an RFQ, and they met the requirements of GFA, which, it could be that GFA might be involved with funding or maybe the way that a grant might get to us. I know, too, that the Office of Management and Budget in the governor's office, too, gives grants out from time to time on projects that they think are important to the state of Georgia. So that might be a good avenue to go after we get the DDR and some concurrence with the EPD to find some funding, since it's such an expensive project.
John, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Scott, or John, has the state approved or the Corps approved this location as an approved location that we can put this plant there?
Yes, and the key to this, I know that the county has a plant, and they are planning to pump all of their water back to the lake, which is, you're talking about power cost, pumps, wear and tear on that. We're at such an elevation on this property that we could flow by gravity into the lake. We feel like that's an easier way to discharge the water. We'll have to go to the Corps and get a permit to be in the bed of the lake. They'll make us do that, but the other thing is going to be the water quality, which is really more about the EPD, approving the discharge point. But, if it's a shallow cove, it's got a lot of sunlight, so that's not a good area. So we've gone out a certain distance to get the water deep in the lake so that the water goes out on the bottom of the lake and doesn't come into contact with a lot of sunlight to try to prevent algae growth in the, in the water. So
It's gonna be like 100 feet deep.
that's, it has to
Mile
be.
of pipe underwater.
Something like that. And we have to justify it with scientific data, but generally it's about 100 feet deep, a mile out in the water, so that the water in the pipe cools to the same temperature as the water in the lake by the time it discharges out at the end. So there'll be, quite a bit of, in essence, scientific studies that they will study the water, study the depth, do models to prove to the EPD it's not going to damage the water quality in the lake before we are allowed to proceed with the project. So that's that 10-year period. We're going to be working, trying to find the best location for the water to discharge out into the lake without damaging the water quality of the lake.
What about, isn't this up on a big ridge? What's going to be the visibility, both from Lanier 400 and from Georgia 400? I know we got the Bethel view, but it's tucked back. Nobody even hardly knows it's there.
And that's true. The plant that we have now is more of a conventional plant. This will be a membrane plant. It'll be more advanced technology. And those types of plants will be in a building. So we'll have a really nice looking building that,
Okay.
won't.
So it's the ponds aren't sitting outside like it.
That's right. And the odor control, everything will have to be really high tech and, high quality. And so, and visibility is important. I know, we've got a nice city. We don't want something to look bad. So we'll have in the council, we'll look at the architecture, renderings before we move forward. But make it look nice and have a lot of landscaping to where it looks like an asset that the city has instead of, a detriment to the looks of the city. I know that's important.
There'll have to be a pump to get it up to the hill to the plant somewhere. So where will things flow to? You got the basins all mapped out for how it'll flow this way?
We do, and that's another, part of this 10-year study that we're doing. We call them pointing your guns,
Yeah.
We have our guns pointed to Bethelview right now, but, as these facilities are upgraded, we'll need to point them in a different direction so that they all come to that plant. But we have an existing pump station there on Sawney Creek right at Pilgrim Mill Road, and that would become the main plant pump station. So instead of pumping over the ridge to Bethelview, we just pump up to this new facility,
So as we upgrade infrastructure, we'll be redirecting to this site away from Bethelview.
That's right. You
So
know,
what's the eventuality of Bethelview then?
well, so Bethelview, we have a waste load into Bethelview Creek, to Big Creek. And, you know, I think there'll probably be some upgrades to that plant through time. And it could be that we put more water into the lake and lessen the flow at Bethelview as it ages. And, you know, instead of making a decision to repair, upgrade an old plant, we may decide, let's put that money in the new facility and get more into the lake. So that's part of our study. We want to make sure we phase that right and get the most bang for the buck and help the city realize the best, you know, cost that we can.
How long does that DDR take for them to complete?
I think the DDR will be about 6 months to complete it.
And where do you go from there after you get that?
So we want concurrence from the EPD that, you know, that will work. You know, we would progress in the planning and then come to a point where when we're ready to pull the trigger, the next step is really to get the permit. But we don't want to have a permit, you know, until the day comes that we really are going to build the plant and we have the funding and we know it's time to move forward. So we'll have the DDR, we'll have concurrence with the EPD, we'll be studying the lake and the effects the discharge has on the water and the cove. And then when time goes on a little bit and we feel like we've found funding or can afford whatever, then we will make the decision, or the council, you know, the council make the decision to either move forward or whatever the council wants to do.
That doesn't expire, that DDR?
The waste load allocation, it's kind of funny, that waste load allocation expires annually, and I have to renew it, and I have renewed it again. I believe they do that so that they can add more stringent requirements every time. So that seems to be what happens, but, so, you know, but they're protecting our drinking water supply, so I understand why we have more stringent requirements for this discharge than other places.
But I mean, I think what he's saying, some of the studies, it sounded like the DDR might have a time limit on them. Like if temperature of the water cools, or I guess or the algae levels or whatever may not be the same this year or next year. How does that work?
And that's possible. You have more loading on the lake as it develops, as the land develops all the way around. But we really haven't gotten to that point through the DDR. It would be a little bit further down to study the location of the discharge pipe and how that would be designed, if that makes sense.
It's the first step in a lot of steps.
Yeah.
Get to the end goal.
And we have to kind of show a good faith effort that we're making progress towards the end goal of discharging water into the lake.
Any other questions for John? We have a motion.
Make a motion, we award to, where's the name of this?
Garver LLC.
Garver Engineering LLC in the amount of $593,709 for the completion of the DDR.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Item 2, emergency repair requests for 3 fine drum screens for advanced water reclamation facility.
It's amazing the words that I learned. A roto shear ultra fine drum screen. And I tried to go back and make sure I had that in the right order because I could have gotten it out of order. But this is equipment that's been in operation, you know, pretty solid all day long, every day for the past 18, 19 years. And they do a lot of maintenance at that plant. They do a really good job with the maintenance. But as you can see, there was, in essence, a catastrophic failure in that picture. And then I have, that's been pulled out. You can see how big it is in comparison to that golf cart there. But we've had a catastrophic failure of one, and the other ones are showing that same breakage, so we know it's a matter of just a, short amount of time. So because the contractor will be out there to install one at $114,479, we decided we would ask the council if it was okay to go ahead and replace all three, and that total price to replace them with new roto-shear ultra-fine drum screens from Parkson is $343,437.00. And that's what we're requesting from the council.
Any questions for John?
Will they take our old ones, or do we have to dispose of them, or?
I believe they take the old ones back with them. I believe that's what was in the bid.
We have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the bid to replace the 3 fine drum screens for the Advanced Water Reclamation Facility in the amount of $343,437.
Second?
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
So now can I insert the other, or do I need to wait till after announcements? You can do it now. Okay. So now we're bringing back up the vote on the rezoning application for 2025048.
Make a motion that we table until work session on the 5th of November.
Second?
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Under announcements, early voting continues daily, Friday, October 31st, including Saturday, October 25th, from 8 to 6 at the Forsyth County Voter Registration and Elections Office, and October 27th to the 31st at Hampton Park Library, Midway Park Community Building, and Old Atlanta Park and Rec Center. Item B, Election Day voting will be Tuesday, November 4th, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. City of Cumming voters will vote on Election Day at the Cumming Recreation and Parks Building at 437 Pilgrim Mill Road. Executive session. Yes, sir. I have a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I have a motion to close executive session.
So moved. Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Hit abstain. Hit abstain.
Me?
Hit abstain.
No, it'll clear it out, okay.
No. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Motion carries 3-0.